right, welcome back to another one. Today I wanted to talk about humble beginnings and goals. So we're going to go back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of touch on some goals that I have or had, and then give you a little background, kind of where I came from a little bit. And hopefully that'll inspire you to come up with some goals with what you would like to do or what you would like to accomplish, and kind of reflect on where you were and where you are, or where you are and where you'd like to go. I think everybody is probably in that same spot where you have somewhere you want to go. And there's a saying, I think it's a proverb, without a vision, the people perish. So there was a time where I did not have a vision. I was kind of lost. And that was right out of college. And the only thing I knew was get a job. And so I remember it was quite the disappointment, because I was thinking, oh man, 4 years of studying hard, getting good grades, becoming an expert. And then you go out there and they look at your resume and they look at you and they're like, nope. Or, you look up those job descriptions and it's like 3 to 5 years minimum of entry level experience. I'm like, how do you break into that? Anyway, so going back, I moved back to my hometown in Colorado after college, and my wife and we just over time, I barely got an entry-level job that paid minimally. It was a really good job. It was a marketing job for a ski company, but minimal. And after a couple years, there's a lot of things happened during that time, but I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit. So there's this goal. I have a list of goals that I wrote in 2015. I've been keeping a list of goals since like 2008. But this one, and I go back and I'm really surprised. And this is how powerful goals are, because so many of those goals took place. And at the time I was like, this is a really lofty goal, but I'd really like to accomplish this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I would love to see this happen. So I'll just go through just a couple of those goals with you. One of the goals was own a company. So I had no idea what kind of business I wanted to get into. All I knew was I just needed to get a job and like pay the bills and get by. But that wasn't good enough for me. I don't think that's good enough for anybody. That's when I did not have a vision. I was just kind of coasting by, hoping something good would take place. But at least I had, started with these goals. And so it took a while to figure out what business to get into. And actually, it wasn't just like the one, because like right now I'm all in with junk removal. But before that, there were many, many different ones that I tried out. But at the time, so owning a company, it started out with, before you move forward with anything, ideas pop into your head. And in order to get ideas, you got to start consuming information. So I started consuming marketing guru information, reading books, and ended up getting some skills and moving forward. And I fell upon this Facebook ads training. And so I paid for a course and took kind of a leap of faith and started training myself. And then I managed to, I just followed to the T what the course tells you, how to get clients, how to run the ads. And then I finally got some, some clients that to get them in the door, you offer to do it for free and see how, and then go from there. But I was able to at least get some work of, to try to let them be the guinea pig of what I'm learning. So that opened some doors because I also took a leap of faith and went to this huge event where Tony Robbins was there. He was like the last speaker. That was pretty cool. But I got to listen to some really smart thought leaders and taught me a lot of cool things about marketing. And that's when I started. I was running a Facebook ad agency at the time, and that kind of, so what that allowed me to do was get into my next goal that I wrote in 2015 and that was own a house. So at the time we were we were just, family let us stay with them for a while from time to time. And, but we were just tired of renting. And as you might know, Colorado, like even before like the pandemic, prices in real estate increasing, before that, Colorado, it was just going up crazy. Like I think everybody, seemed like a lot of people from California or just, I don't know, were moving in. I think it had to do with the tech industry. It's a really good booming market in the Denver area. But if we were to, with what I was getting paid at my first job, and I think second one at the time, there was no way, like you couldn't even get a studio apartment with what I was doing. And so so at the time I was like, I was doing this agency and I was making just as much as if not more of my current job with the clients that I had. And at the time I was able to work with some chiropractors to run Facebook ads for them. And so with that, and then in this event that I went to, we looked elsewhere. I was like, okay, where do we want to end up? So we looked in the Midwest, and at the time found that Kansas City was a really good central place. It's close to family. Like the flight is like an hour and a half between Denver and Kansas City, easy to get back and forth. But we just loved it out here. And so that's probably a whole nother story I can get into later on, but ended up planting our feet here and just moved forward in faith and bought our first house. It was a historic home. It was like 100 years old and really interesting house. But yeah, it was our first starter home, and then lived there for a year and a half. But here's another thing. Here was a really surprising goal that I wrote down. My other goal was I wanted to live on a farm. And so at the time, the house we bought, it was kind of in the suburbs, like in the city. But then eventually, miracle after miracle of finding a property, a farm property, where a series of events took place where miraculously we were able to put an offer on the house or the property, and that's where we are at now. So I'll probably share that story later on. It's quite a story, but we've been here ever since. We've been here about 6 years, and I love it. And I hope we can live here another 60. So really enjoy what we're doing now. Here's another goal that I wrote in 2015. Own a new van or equivalent to accommodate up to 9 kids. I, at the time, couldn't even fathom having close to 9 kids. I think we had 2 at the time. And now we have 6 and 1 on the way. And just blew my mind when I read that, because that just kind of was in the back of my mind. And here we are. So I won't go into I have a whole like hundreds of goals that I've written down, and they're really fun to write down. Like, so if you have time, start writing those goals down, because the long-term ones, the monthly ones, the daily ones, because they all come, like almost all of them, or a lot of them come to pass because you're declaring what you want to do or what you want, and your brain is thinking about it. And this goes back to like, I don't know if you ever watched that movie or read the book, The Secret. Talks about like the energy in the universe and how all that kind of aligns together when you declare something of what you want. But I really believe that. So like, especially if you're constantly thinking about that, and start your day every day in the morning just reading over your goals and what you want to do, then it will eventually come to pass. So there was a couple of mentors that I started following or listening to, and that helped quite a bit as well. But I'm going to fast forward to my current goals and some of the things that took place with my current goals. But before I get into that, so I was back in the day, I listened to Tony Robbins a lot, but then I stumbled across Jim Rohn, which, holy cow, this guy is amazing. If you go on YouTube, he's got like 1 million videos. He was the guru before Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the reason why, because of Jim Rohn. So anyway, he's amazing. So if you want to get some inspiration, dive into his stuff. He's awesome. So here's some current goals that I have that were really surprising to me. So between 2015 and today, so I attempted a few businesses and succeeded to a certain extent. I had the ads agency. I did that for a while. And then another little side hustle thing, and along with the day jobs that I had, I sold on Amazon. So like there's this guy I met that showed me how to do it. And so there's this particular item at Dollar General that sold really well on Amazon. I was able to buy it for like $3 and then sell it on Amazon for like $12 to $15 and then get like a $3 to $6 profit. And so I was like, well, man, how many Dollar Generals are there? So I looked on the map and there's like 60, well, maybe not that many, 30 to 50 stores. And they're popping up everywhere. They come up out of like in the middle of like just the most random places. They're all over the place. And they all have these notebooks that I was picking up. And so, I did a little trial run. I bought like 50 to 100, put them on Amazon, and they all sold so fast. And the peak season was like the winter. So like, and then like, I think the spring and summer was kind of slow, but so I figured out when they sold like really fast. So I every Saturday or once or twice during the week after work, I think it was mostly Saturday, I would spend all day just driving to like 20 stores and buying up every single notebook that they had. And so I'd come home with like 400 of these notebooks, and I just kept doing that over and over. So I'd have routes. I'd cover, just like with junk removal, I covered 6 counties. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to these 2 counties and hit up all these stores this Saturday. Then the next Saturday, do another route, pick up all these notebooks. And so that was pretty cool. And really fun, because I put them all on Amazon and they all sold like hotcakes. And that allowed me to kind of fund other things that I was venturing off into. Because we live on this farm, like we got a wood stove put in, but that required, if you want to use a wood stove and rely on that solely on heat and nothing else, you have to have some other things to feed that wood stove. So I had to get some chainsaws and a wood splitter and some other tools so that I could harvest wood to get it split and ready to dry and ready to go for the winter. So I still do that, but that little venture was able to supply kind of those things that I needed to do, and it was pretty fun. But fast forwarding, okay, so junk removal. I wrote down some goals with junk removal, and I think I've explained kind of how I stumbled across it in previous episodes. But I was really surprised because I wrote a bunch of goals of what I wanted to do with junk removal, and I was really surprised because at the time I was just trying to get started, and so I managed to get this trailer. But as I was writing down this list, I'll read some surprising ones that I had no idea were going to happen this soon. So here's one. I will find an Isuzu dump truck. That was a big one. I thought that was going to be like years down the road, but for whatever reason, I was able to find a used one that I'm able to use now, and which any equipment works. Just a little side note. What I love about this truck is first the decals. I love the decals because it just completely changes the approach when you visit customers. Like they love it. And also, like I got my first customer who saw the truck. I was able to get them taken care of the other day, so that felt really good. And it's like we were just starting the year, February, so I'm pretty certain that those decals got some really big, bright yellow and black decals that you can see quite a ways away, and I know that that's going to help down the road. But what I love about this truck is I was doing the landscaping trailer, and this truck, you could probably do this with the dump trailer too, but it's saving me 3 hours a day at least, because after every job I was spending 20 minutes bungee cording the tarp after every job, and I had like 3 to 4 jobs a day. On top of that, you're doing the same thing at the dump. And then also when you go to, not the dump, the transfer station or the landfill. So I would have to go to those places and then unload again. So I'm like handling the material twice. And then if it's Saturday and my trailer's full, I have to unload at our property so that I have room for Saturday jobs, and then manage to just load it back up Monday and Tuesday and get all that out of here and haul away. It was a lot of work. So I'm really grateful for this dump truck because it's saving my back quite a bit and time. So it's a huge plus. So that was one of the goals I had, kind of one of the big ones for junk removal. I also have had when I first started. Let's see. I'm just going down here. Yeah, just like, the monthly goals and the yearly goals, I have that. And surprisingly, it's coming to pass. The fall of 2023. So my average junk job goal was $125. A lot of you, that's really low. Even $250 is low for some of you guys. I'd like to get it to close to $500, for average job right now. I'm about at 250 now for a job, but anyway, that was my goal starting out. I was just happy to get anything to get started. So that's where I'm at now. But the point is, I just want to encourage you guys to just think about what do you really want? What's your vision? Like, if you don't have a vision, you're just kind of floating, like you're just kind of untethered. I'm not sure the right word, but if you have a vision, if you know what you want to do, then anchor it on paper, and it'll happen. So just keep thinking about it every single day. So I think that's the whole point that I want to get across, is that you can really go after your dreams. You can really go after your goals. It will happen. If you're into The Secret, there's this app that I have. I haven't used it in a while, but it's called Money. It's like you open the app and it has like a check that you can deposit, and then you can spend that money however you want. But when I first got this app, I was playing around with it. I was having a hard time spending pretend money even. So it really helps you kind of figure out, like, get comfortable with that type of mindset of what you want to spend your money on, what you want. So there's just something to think about. But hopefully that's helpful to you. I'm in my studio with my microphone. I'm not in the truck today. I'm snowed in. There's tons of snow. I'm just kind of a sitting duck. I can't leave. If I do, the roads are really slick. So thought put some use to my time today and get another episode out. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. And if you did, give it a comment or a review. Let me know what you think or what you like. And I'm excited for future episodes. I'm getting a couple of interviews on the board lined up. So we'll have more after this. So stay tuned.